Morning everybody, welcome to Wake Up Well. It's Sunday the 13th of December. We continue today our Advent theme as we have our readings and thought for the day. So let's jump into Mark's Gospel. We're going to start with the first few verses of the Gospel of Mark. It says this is the good news about Jesus the Messiah, the Son of God. It began just as the prophet Isaiah had written. Look, I am sending my messenger ahead of you, and he will prepare your way. He is the voice shouting in the wilderness. Prepare the way for the Lord's coming. Clear the road for him. This messenger was John the Baptist. Later, John said this. Someone is coming soon who is greater than I am, so much greater that I am not even worthy to stoop down like a slave and untie the strips of his sandals. I baptize you with water, but he will baptize you with the Holy Spirit. There you go. Mark's Gospel is one of my favourites because it's very straightforward. He doesn't mess around. He doesn't do a big fanfare. He just says things how they are all the way through the Gospel. Jesus comes out all guns blazing, really. There's healings, there are deliverances, there's power encounters, good news is preached, people's lives are changed. It's a really powerful gospel. And in this gospel, Mark is very straightforward. He simply says, as the first verse of the entire account, he says, this is the good news about Jesus the Messiah, the Son of God. And that's it, isn't it? That's the essence of the Christmas message that you and I are getting into at this time. It's good news in all circumstances. In all circumstances, Jesus is good news. And the reason that Mark can write this is because he says, well, actually, good news for you and me is rooted in who Jesus was, who Jesus is, and who Jesus is to come. He's the Messiah. And the extraordinary news is he's not just another person who walked planet Earth, not just a wise teacher. We're talking about the Son of God, God in the flesh. You know, God who walked the earth, the incarnation, the one who walked among us. That's why it's such good news. So we're talking about a hope, about a good news for you and for me for this very day because Jesus is amongst us, because Jesus was at the same time 100% human and 100% divine. God in the flesh, God amongst us as one of us, who understood us, who can set us into liberty and freedom, into relationship with him again. And, you know, we're about halfway through our season of Advent this year. And Advent is all about waiting. It's all about preparing ourselves. It's that sense of doors being opened, the deep meaning of Jesus being revealed and understood to us. And John the Baptist was a messenger of that good news. It's very clear this gospel is not about John the Baptist. Instead, the reading actually, which is a prophetic word which comes from Malachi chapter 3, says this about John the Baptist, or the one who was to come. It says he's a messenger, just a messenger, and actually shouting in the wilderness, like one who shouts in the wilderness. If you think about that, that's a crazy thing to do. Why, if you're in the wilderness when there's no one else around, would you shout? But this is what it can feel like sometimes, can't it, for you and for me? It feels a bit like you and I are shouting in the wind. You know, we know this good news. Why is nobody listening? Why do my neighbours not feel the same way that I do, or my family, or my spouse? You know, why do I feel like the only one who's shouting about this good news about Jesus around here? It can feel like that sometimes, can't it? I'm sure that John the Baptist felt like that at times. It can be the same for you and for me. It can be a lonely, can be perhaps an ignored position to be a Christian in 2020 in our nation. But actually, we have the same call that John the Baptist had. You know, we're to be messengers, to be ambassadors for Christ, even today, even right now, with those people that you know. the prophetic word says this: prepare the way of the Lord's coming. Prepare the way for the Lord's coming. And you and I can have a role in that today. Be thinking about that. Perhaps, first of all, it starts with you and me. Personally, let's prepare the way. Clear the road for him, says the passage. We need to be doing that, don't we, in our own lives, in our own hearts, even at this time, preparing the way for the Lord to have full reign, for him really to come in power and hope and presence and his word and our obedience to it. But beyond ourselves, there's a greater call as well to prepare the way of the Lord in our society, to speak up for those who have no voice, to speak up for the values and the goodness of God, to tell people that Jesus is good news. So let's have that hope and confidence. Let's have the good news about Jesus the Messiah, the Son of God, on our lips and our hearts today. I bless you on your day.